Welcome to the Pineapple Briefs, where we explore little-known points of interest about Pinellas County, Florida. Clearwater Beach, famous for its powdery white sands, tropical climate, luxury hotels, and the like. It's grown considerably from a sleepy little hamlet to a booming tourist destination. And though I understand the allure of the area's major attractions, that's not what I want to talk about. I really want to talk about some statues. But not about the kitschy ones that you see dotting Pier 60 and the Clearwater Beach Walk. I know the dolphins and the happy sea turtles certainly are cute, but nope. I really want to discuss two statues that a lot of folks probably overlook on their way to the beach. On the average drive to Clearwater Beach, you have to cross the Memorial Causeway Bridge. And just before you hit the incline, you may notice these two sentinels. Why do they look vaguely familiar? So the name of the two statues are the Spirit of the American Doughboy, and the second, when you're leaving the beach, the Spirit of the American Navy. They were both sculpted by E.M. Viquesney and originally dedicated here in Clearwater in 1927 by the American Legion Post 7 at the original opening of the Memorial Causeway Bridge in memory of 38 local servicemen who died in World War I. In the early 60s, the statues were removed for 12 months and put in storage until a new approach to the bridge was completed in 1963. You can see here, moving on from Capitol Theater, we can follow Cleveland Street all the way down to where one of the old bridge spans used to be. I say used to be because in 2002, construction began on the newest and current iteration of the causeway, so the statues were removed once again and put in storage. Frank Coulson, a renowned sculptor from Sarasota, Florida, restored the statues during this time, and they were reinstalled at their present location in 2006. Incidentally, Coulson had previously made a mold of the Doughboy statue in the late 1990s, and that replica was placed in Sarasota on Memorial Day in 1998. Speaking of replicas, let's talk a little bit more about Viquesney and his Doughboy. Ernest Moore Viquesney served in the Spanish-American War and afterwards, against his father's advice, became an artist. His first real claim to fame was when he sculpted the marble headstones for Civil War soldiers buried in Andersonville National Cemetery. Then in 1918 came his most important work. Starting with sketches, Viquesney decided to work on a Doughboy sculpture that would stand as a memorial to World War I. And perhaps more interestingly, he decided to mass produce it. Instead of sculpting each Doughboy statue by hand, he would make a mold for them, and used innovative casting techniques in the process. In fact, he patented the idea in 1920. He advertised his Spirit of the American Doughboy statue in newspapers throughout the country, and it was a win-win. He would be able to produce the sculptures quickly, and small towns could easily afford one of their very own for a rate of about $1,500 or around $20,000 in today's money. He also offered small replicas of the statue, even one that served as a lamp base so that people could buy them for their own homes. Back then, he claimed to have sold 300 full-size statues, and at least one to every state. There's at least 140 statues that still remain throughout the country. Amazingly, there's a Tour of Honor webpage entitled Searching for the Lost Generation, devoted to logging visits to each of the statues known to still exist. It's often noted that besides the Statue of Liberty, the Doughboy statue is perhaps the most seen sculpture in the country. It's the focal point of over 10% of the World War I memorials in the US. And if you ever come across one of these statues, make sure to look for this plaque at its base. That's how you'll know you found an authentic one. So don't be fooled. You see, Viquesney had a competitor named John Paulding, who patented his own statue entitled Over the Top 6 months before Viquesney did. And it looks strikingly similar to Spirit, right down to the uniform, posture, and upraised fist. Let's take a look at them side by side. And now look at the upraised hands of each sculpture. See the difference? Viquesney's Doughboy is in fact holding a grenade in its hand. I wonder if there was a drawing they were both inadvertently inspired by. If so, I haven't found it. So here's really the major difference with regard to Paulding's statues. Due to their more traditional casting process, Paulding's statues were more expensive, and perhaps, as a result, only 34 of his statues still exist today. Speaking of rare statues, Let's take a closer look at the Spirit of the American Navy, which was completed in 1926 by Duquesne. There were miniatures made of this statue as well, but unfortunately, it wasn't a hit. As a result, there are only 7 full-sized copies known to exist. That kind of makes the one in Clearwater extra special, especially seeing it paired with his doughboy brethren. Here's the Navy man and doughboy together in Fort Wayne, Indiana as well, but that's definitely the exception. So if you think you might have seen the doughboy once before, or even the Paulding's version, you might be right. It's not deja vu. He's been spotted in at least 39 states, in town squares, at cemeteries, parks, in front of schools, federal buildings, and even a certain bridge, standing proudly and silently proclaiming victory. If you enjoyed this briefing, please like, subscribe, and share. And thanks for watching.